Hey there, YouTube. Air of Carthage bringing you another Napoleon Total War online team battle. This is a 3 versus 3 on the grassy flatlands. You can see the teams there. I am on the defending red team, and you can see my teammates there as well. So I believe, I don't remember all the players and who they played as, but you can remember the teams there. I'll be deploying in the center across from CRS, HM, Bedell. And this is going to be a good video. I hope you enjoy it. It's going to give me an opportunity to illustrate some mistakes in my strategy, and also provide you an interesting team battle at the same time. Alright, so welcome to the ugly rainy battlefield. I don't know why my last couple of battles have always been in the rain. You can see that before the deployment period ended, I didn't get my troops quite where I want. I am playing as Sweden. I like Sweden, and not just because they have kind of, sort of, but not exactly Walmart colors on their flag. Let's go check out my teammates. Both my teammates are playing as Austria, and I'm playing as Sweden. Our opponents, we have one Prussia, and let's see, a Great Britain here across from me, and then Russia. So let's kind of take a quick look at the armies. See, my opponent has 7-pound howitzer, some militia, a lot of militia, some Hungarian Fusilier, some Jaegers, and it looks like some light cavalry. His Prussian opponent looks like he has some Silesian Schutzen and Jaegers up front, light cavalry, and your basic foot army here. Let's focus on the battle in the center for the time being. I'm going to illustrate some tactics that I used that were incorrect. My opponent brought 5 units of light foot, and if there's a couple of things you need to know about Great Britain, it's that their unit quality is just better than any other faction on the game, with the exception of France, but probably in a lot of ways is even better than France. Their unit quality is just superior. And another thing you need to keep in mind about Napoleon Total War is that light infantry, as opposed to rifles, are just plain superior. They come with a higher number of men. As you can see, my skirmishers have 60 men per unit. These have 90. And even though my men get the first shot, because I have fewer men, I'm just going to get pummeled. So, I have an equivalent number of skirmishers to my opponent, and even though I try and use them to my advantage, it's just I'm going to lose this skirmish fight, and it's just sheer numbers is really all there is to it. Light infantry are just made to be better in Napoleon Total War, and they just are. And there are advantages to using some rifle units, but when it comes down to just a straight up heavyweight fight of light infantry, rifles just get destroyed by light infantry. And my problem is I can pull my light infantry back and try and use their superior range, but all that's going to do is draw my enemy's his light foot within range of my line infantry. Now I'm using my artillery to try and rectify the light infantry fight, and it's just not going well. My army, let's see, I believe I tried to bring a pretty high quality army as best I could. See, I got a lifeguard of foot there. I think I have 3 lifeguards of foot, and I want to say 5 units of line infantry. Sorry. My cavalry, I have 2 mounted Jaegers and 1 dragoon unit, and then I have my general here, which is Hans Henrik von Essen. Yeah, so I ran into problems here. You can see my opponent is concentrating his light infantry in the center, and my tactics are just completely unsound. Bringing rifles against British light infantry was just stupid. I really should have picked a faction that had light infantry, and even if I did, the problem is, like I said, the British light infantry is just superior. And so my mistake is I just sit here and let my men try and shoot it out. And much to my chagrin, even though his line is very near his light infantry, I'm not really causing a whole great deal of damage to his line infantry. I mean, I am causing some damage back here, but not near as much as I'd like. If you take a look at my lines, I'm taking severe damage on my right flank from the bullets of his light foot, and I've caused hardly any damage to his light foot. This is what I'm talking about. Look at, I mean, if you look at this, my light infantry has been firing at his non-stop, and I'm just not causing much damage, and I almost start to wonder if my rifles are not just aiming at his line infantry. I kind of think that they are because I have them on fire at will. And if that is the case, it's just bad management on my part. So you can see I have bad strategy and bad troop management right now, and it's getting my butt kicked. And then down here I do not have any light infantry support, and so my opponent's going to go ahead and march up some of his foot troops. And let's see, he's got 3 units of foot. Across from him I have a lifeguards of foot. And here I make another micromanagement mistake. I had pulled back these light infantry, and I accidentally walked them forward. I was actually moving them across the map, but they accidentally came forward a little bit. And unfortunately, it brought them within range of this foot unit, and they got to fire off a volley, and it killed even more of my line infantry, so I got kind of screwed again. So now I'm just kind of in a bum situation. My line infantry is being destroyed by his light infantry. My light infantry is being destroyed by his light infantry. So basically his light infantry is just destroying my whole army, and I'm causing almost no damage in return. So this forces me to make some unfortunate decisions. So I decided to push forward by bringing in my cavalry for distraction. This is going to get them killed, but I don't really care at this point. I've got to use my cavalry for some distraction and then try and move my infantry forward and try and gain an upper hand in the fight that's taking place in this area. So I'm going to try and force his units into square here. And when you hear our men are running, that's my rifles running away. So I forced his troops into square. This was actually a decent move by me. This is going to reduce the amount of fire they can put on me, and it's also going to bring my infantry units within range of his and give me an advantage in numbers, or be able to rectify the advantage that he had in numbers. So you can see that this worked out rather well for me. So that was kind of a temporary victory for me there on the right flank. The problem is my opponent is just absolutely, like I said, decimating my left flank. Look at the amount of men that I already have dead on the ground. If we scan through here, you can see the bodies there. And that's just the misses that his light infantry are making are just devastating my line infantry. And you can see that my Austrian teammate over here just got absolutely got whacked by the Prussians. And so he's over here in his last defenses. And it's not that he didn't try, it's just our opponents were pretty good. They were really pretty good players. I'm not that great of a player, and I'm not very experienced in Napoleon team battles, as you can tell, because I made some very bad mistakes in this battle. And let's see, one of the enemy generals was killed. I don't remember whose general that was. Let's see. Hayden GB. It's not my opponent whose general just died. I think it is the Austrian player over here is Hayden. Anyway, I'll move over to that side of the battle when the time comes. My teammate over here, the Don Part 2, is really an excellent player, actually. He shows me how to stop sucking. So I got advantage of my opponent out here on his left flank, and I'm trying to push that advantage. But my opponent just has a lot of line infantry, and British line infantry just doesn't rout very easily. And so I'm doing everything I can to win the battle on his left flank, and it's just not easy. And I do have my lifeguards afoot out here, which is helping, but it's not happening as quickly as I need it to happen, because like I said, my left flank is absolutely decimated, and if I don't win this very soon, then the battle is over for me. And so you can see my lifeguards afoot are absolutely destroying this foot unit, but they finally rout. And so I've gained some advantage here, but all my opponent has to do is keep pulling back. And as you can see, his light infantry just needs to stay here and continue pounding the crap out of me. And now he's going to make the obvious move and shift to my right, because now that my teammate is dead, the Prussian opponent is coming over here, and he's going to be able to have at my flanks as well. So now I have to try and micromanage 2 fronts against 2 enemies with an army that is already decimated from losses. So I'm screwed, basically, is the idea there. And I also have enemy cavalry bearing down on my flanks as well. So I'm just in huge trouble. So you can see my enemy is absolutely chewing me up. I am making some headway and causing my opponent some damage, again on his left flank, but there's only so much damage I can do in this situation. I am going to lose the fight. But I'm trying. At this point, in order to have any hope of winning, I've got to cause as much damage to my opponent as possible. Otherwise, my team has no chance of winning this fight. And so here's my cavalry coming back in to try and force some squares. If I can force my opponent in squares or force retreats, that will again allow me to cause more damage to my opponent. And you can see that I did force 3 different squares here, and that's what I need. And then I think that's, yeah, my ally came and made that strike for me and helped rat out some of these men. I believe that was the Dawn Part 2. It could be leftover cavalry from my opponent who was killed. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember. But in any case, the Dawn Part 2 is over here fighting the Russian forces. But again, I will get to that side of the fight. I want to show you my failed strategies here. So what should I have done differently? Sweden can be played well, but the tactics that I used Sweden with here were bad tactics. What I should have done was not tried to just win a head-on light infantry fight. I should have brought some more cavalry and stuff like that to be able to help my line infantry gain a decisive advantage. And I shouldn't have let that light infantry fight go on for as long as it did, because the British were obviously going to win that, and that was just foolish of me to let it go on like that. So that was my first mistake, and that's part of the reason why I'm losing here. My second mistake I think I made is to waste money on artillery. This battle just happened way too fast for me to have wasted money on that howitzer, and if I, even if I did bring the howitzer, I didn't use it effectively. So one way or another, I wasted money there. That was stupid. So yeah, don't follow my tactics on that. I should have brought more line infantry, not brought the artillery, and I probably should have tanked up on a little more cavalry and not worried about skirmishers quite as much. Line infantry is really one of the best units in this game, and I could have used my cavalry to run disruption, and to get my general, and to get my troops to a quicker victory. In any case, apparently I killed the enemy general, or someone killed the enemy general, and I believe that was the, I don't know whose general it was. I think it was the British general. Yeah, the British general just died. And as you can see, I'm not going to win this fight, but I am causing a good deal of damage to this flank of the British. And then my allies are assisting as well and causing as much damage, but you can still see that there's a huge number of enemy troops, and my men are about to break. And I even have Russian troops behind me, so I just can't get a break at this point. Now, at this point, this is pretty much all the time I have for this video. Please come back. I know this video was a little bit scatterbrained. I was just trying to get you to some of the failings of my strategy. You can see that I absolutely got wasted by my opponent, and I deserved every bit of it for coming with bad strategy like that. Like I said, my light infantry strategy was all wrong, and the way I moved and managed my troops was all wrong, so I absolutely got what I deserved here. Yes, I made my enemy pay a costly price, but that's not always enough. So will it be enough that the Dawn Part 2 will be able to pull off a win for my team? The only way you're going to find out is if you come back and watch the next video, and I will see you then.